Hi everyone. I'd like to discuss why I don't think you should fear aliens, or why I don't think we have anything to fear from aliens. Uh, Try to make this somewhat brief, although I'm not very good at that. Uh, I don't know if you've ever heard of Fermi's paradox, but it's I'll boil it down quickly. It's basically a scientist that said we ought to be seeing aliens everywhere based on how old the universe is and how far stars are, thousands of light years, and thinking, okay, if they're advanced enough to travel and only thousands of years between stars, or even if it took millions of years for them to set up civilizations on each star and each new planet, from his reasoning, they still ought to be everywhere because of the universe being billions of years old, or at least the Earth being 5 billion years old. Saying that, yeah, we ought to be seeing them everywhere. So why don't we see them everywhere? And then the idea is that somehow they just don't make it. The civilizations just blow up. They collapse in on themselves and never make it to the ability to travel through space. Is that what's happening? You sort of look at humankind and sort of say, boy, if aliens were like us, would they ever make it off the rock, or would they just blow themselves to hell like we seem to always do? So my feeling is that aliens would not, in fact, get off the rock if they were behaving like humans. And they're sort of, if they were egoically identified as we are with imaginary selves, and we weren't around killing each other based on these crazy ideas, we're not going to cooperate enough to make it, across the stars and to new planets. Really, the idea of Star Trek is not that far-fetched. In order to be traveling across the universe, you're going to have a fairly enlightened society of people who get along and don't have individual possessions or real. We'd be much more of a collective than we are now. Though still maintaining the individuality, because that's an important part of what we are. We don't smash it out with totalitarianism, and we don't become a collective in that sense, but we do have a lot more cooperation. It's not based on the me, and what I need, or think I need. So, so where I'm going with this is, I think that if aliens were to make it here, and we are seeing some advanced technology and UFOs and things, I think that they have probably overcome the challenges of egoic identity and such, and have become essentially an enlightened race of beings, and are cooperative with each other. And if they're here to observe all Earth, not just us, but all the nature, just as we do like to observe animals in nature. They probably do observe, and they probably are here to observe us. We probably are fairly interesting, just as we like to watch an ant farm. They might want to watch a human farm that we do, building our little cities and stuff. And it may look as silly to them as an ant farm does to us in some sense, but also as sophisticated and advanced as an ant farm looks to us. So yeah, I think if they're here, they're more observing, and probably taking the idea that they don't want to interfere, and don't want to pass on their viruses to us, and whatever else in their ideas, mind viruses. They don't, they do want to let us be ourselves, just as we will eventually become more, enlightened, and we'll let animals be animals and not try to domesticate everything, and we'll let humans be humans and not try to domesticate everyone. Definitely, one of my thoughts about humans is that we're overmanaged and overprescribed, really, to the point it's just crazy. I just saw a couple with their child at McDonald's, and they had their child on a leash, and the kid, I could see the only unhappiness, that every time they cried, it was just that they want to explore and they want to go out on their own. They want to, but the parents have to control everything, and don't really understand that that's really what the basic need of the child is, to have autonomy. Even a child has decisions of their own, feelings of their own, knows what they want. And in our culture now, it's like the parents have to tell them, no, you can't do that, no, you can't do that, you must do this instead. And they picked up the kid, all the kid wants to do is walk around and explore, and it's like, here. And the kid wasn't even trying to get the ice cream or eat it, but they kind of force feeding the kid the ice cream. Not force feeding, and the kid opens his mouth, it's like, eat, dopamine fix, yes, I'm placated, sort of, but. So that's our culture. Let's, overmanage and overprescribe everything, even for adults, right? We have to get in line for this and get a passport for that, and, sign up for this, sign up for that, everything, and then it's got to be on this day. I mean, we are babysat to death by our government and whatnot. Anyway, I'm off topic here from the aliens, but again, I really don't think we'd have something to fear from them. That's a projection that we have as humans, that we still view the Earth as like a very archaically in dark age manner, almost. The Earth is it's ours to take from what we want. We just extract from it whatever we want. We don't look at the Earth as still, even though we understand that it is a biosphere and everything works together and lives together as a sort of a collective, and there's a balance. And if we kill off the insects, and then the birds die, and it would be a whole chain of events that ends up really hurting and destroying humanity, because we just don't recognize the connections between everything and the ecosystem and how valuable it all is. We can't just take from it what we want and throw out what we want. Use the word throw out there. Destroy the environment at our will. We are part of the environment. We have to live within it and not act like it's just God gave it to us to do with it what we want. That's just really a 2,000-year-old idea that, and we got to grow out of that. Even the way people treat their pets, like their pets are almost slaves, like they own the pets. No, the pet is a grown-up, adult, mature individual. It's not a baby. Even a little bird, it's not a baby, unless it is a baby, which they do have. But they may be cute to us, but they are adults. They are independent. They have their own autonomy, and I think that again, we come across as just thinking we have the right to do whatever we want to anything and make them do what we want, and it's an arrogance born out of immaturity. And anyway, I've gone on quite long on this topic already, and you can see there's lots of different directions you can go and threads. But yeah, humans, we project, we are crazy, we battle each other, we are very immature, and we make other groups out of everything we can, skin color or language or geography where someone was born, or some religious thing that we say. I mean, just basically give a word and say you're something other than me, and now if we can fight over these limited resources that really aren't for us to just have and take. But yeah, so humans are very mature, and we project that onto what we imagine the aliens are. So we probably imagine them to be some totalitarian thing or some insect hive mind, but of course insects aren't intelligent enough to build spaceships and cross the universe. So if they're intelligent enough to do things like that, they're going to have to get past a little bit, I imagine. They're not going to just be insectoids, as a lot of science fiction has. They're going to be intelligent, and with that intelligence, there's going to be some self-awareness, and that self-awareness is going to create, just like in humans, all kinds of ideas about the self and who the human is and how it has to protect itself and protect its other ones and kill the other ones. And if it doesn't outgrow that, it's just going to end up killing itself off like humans may eventually do. And if it does outgrow that, then it becomes a society where there's, cooperation and consideration, and maybe then they can, build things and go to the stars. But, one other thing I have, hold back on that again too, is why is humanity in such a rush to go to the stars? What is it we think we're going to do after I die? What does it matter that humanity goes on for 1 million years or 2 million years and travels to the stars and keeps going? And what is that to me, or even my children's children? Eventually, and then the humans evolve into something other than human, because over time, they're not going to stay static and the same. So in 1 million years, there are descendants? Are they human, or are they something else? And like we look at chimps, right, or the predecessors to both chimps and humans that we say are the missing link, right, or we don't know about. So, yeah. Humans, we're not as advanced as we think. We always, have this in our mind that we're at the pinnacle of achievement, and of course that's what everybody's always thought in time. Of course, 2,000 years ago, people probably also believed that we're the pinnacle of achievement, and look how great we are. So there's much further for us to go, but I don't look at technology as a great god and a great thing that it's going to bail us out of everything. I think we need to bail ourselves out of technology in a sense, and get out of being so tech-driven. And why are we rushing into, like I said, why are we rushing into the stars and trying to do this? It's because our minds, our identities are so, they've become caught up with our body survival mechanisms, and so now our ideas of ourselves, our story wants to go on. It has a survival mechanism of its own, and it wants our story to continue after we die. It wants a legend. I want to be famous and remembered. You're not going to be there to care. But yeah, we have a story that wants humanity to go on after I die and go out into the stars. But actually, humans would probably be happier if we kind of gave up a lot of our technology and went back to, or went forward to, enjoying a bit more balance with nature. The simple challenges of being, working to build your own house with your community and coming together to do that, and growing your food with your community, and getting to work to make your own furniture. These things are incredible once you start to do them. You really find so much fulfillment and joy in them, but our society, of course, doesn't tell you that. It tells you you need to go, buy things and consume things, and that's where you'll get your joy from, and it's really a short drug, a shot, basically, you get in the arm. Every time you go buy something, you get a little dopamine hit, or every time you click another video to watch, you get another dopamine hit. That's why people are addicted to all kinds of things. So, what else can I say about all this? Basically, yeah, so humans, we may blow ourselves up with, nuclear war. We may use artificial intelligence to the point where, it becomes smarter than us and destroys us because we don't give it the right programming. Or we design artificial intelligence into our military systems as we're doing now, and it just, that becomes an arms race to death where it ends up killing us. We could have an asteroid hit us. We could have the volcano that's under Yellowstone. It hasn't gone off in something like 200,000 years. If that blew up, who knows? That could send all of Earth, humans, back to the Stone Ages in a matter of a few years. By just causing so much havoc and destruction and stuff that just all of our support systems and stuff that we have around us collapse, and then we're back to basically survival the old school way. And most of us can't do that, don't know how, and wouldn't last very long, and so it would basically make such a few small pockets of humans left that they would lose all the technology and knowledge over a relatively short period of time, I imagine. And so within 20 to 50 years, you could really be back in the Stone Ages, or 100 years, even with all the books, but maybe the books would be blown up by then and lost too. So I know this has gone on long and lots of tangents. I do like to discuss these kind of topics. But I know that a lot of people are out there talking about the aliens these days, and there's a lot of people saying we really need to, the Air Force guy that says we got to watch out. This is something to worry about. These could be military. Well, that's coming from his point of view as a, in the military, and projecting that that's what aliens would be like. But again, like I said, I just don't think a non-cooperative species would make it here. Now, the other possibilities are totalitarian, a very George Orwellian 1984 kind of world, or Brave New World, where it's basically all controlled by one small group of planners that plan everything for everyone. And that idea, that has a little more merit, that could make it to where they could still have enough cooperation, so, quote unquote, to have a single-mindedness of purpose enough to cross the universe and do all that. And maybe that's the most realistic sense, because like I said, if aliens were really sort of enlightened, they might realize there's no need to travel across the universe. There's no need to go explore. I mean, it is a natural inclination of humans and of other animals. Obviously, octopus go everywhere, ants go everywhere. It's just our natural inclination to want to explore. So I guess even though I don't think there's any purpose in going to Mars, there are humans that are just naturally more inclined to explore. I ain't never going to Mount Everest either. Certain things just seem like it. I'm not one of those people that needs to go and do that. And there are people that do that, and those are the people who did, in the past, were the rugged explorers and pioneers. So they still exist in us, and I get why they want to go to Mars, because it's just built into them. So I guess I can see, yes, that even an enlightened species of aliens would want to explore for that reason, just because it's in us to explore. We explore music, we explore art, we explore ourselves, we explore our own world, but we can explore our own present moment always, and we don't always have to be exploring something that's not in the present moment, something that's always in the future, away from here. As Yoda would say, these Jedi's not into adventure and excitement, and always looking into the future away is what Luke was doing, which was a criticism of the wisdom of the Jedi. So I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but yeah. So to tie this up, I don't think there's much to fear with aliens, maybe. But if there is something to fear with them, they could just wipe us out like that, probably. So, again, why even fear that? It's, we're basically an ant to them, and they can just go like that. And so, what are we going to put up all our defenses to try to stop, just being smacked out? If that's the case, that's life. You die like of a heart attack or a car accident, or, if the aliens want to just take the Death Star and wipe out the entire planet Earth, hey, so it goes, and enjoy life while you're here, because you never know that that's what's going to happen. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the future of humanity that goes on and on and on and on and on after you're long gone. It really doesn't matter any more than humanity mattered before you were born, I think. So live your life, enjoy it. If you encounter an alien, be friendly and kind. Assume he's here just to check things out and explore, and wave at him like you'd wave to a dog or a cat, and just say, hey, what's up? You don't have to really communicate to the species, but you can still, there's still a communication going where there is a recognition of the other, even if we don't, you people out there, you've all encountered dogs and cats and raccoons and whatever, and so that there's at least a recognition of another being that is alive. Stay happy, my friends. Stay optimistic. Be positive. And, yeah, don't worry about the aliens. Take care, everybody. Bye.